So I heard recently that Joe Rogan is moving out of California. He's moving to Texas. Theo Vaughn is another huge podcaster, huge comedian who's moving out of California, and he's moving to Nashville, Tennessee. And this is something else that goes hand in hand with the idea that, celebrity is dead, or this idea, this like California, whatever, the Warner Brothers lot, the Sony lot, what have you. Why do these celebrities have to live anywhere? They can do whatever the hell they want. They are the person. These individual creators are the entire thing. You can set up an entire studio in a room for seriously probably $500. You can get a top of the line microphone for a couple $100, a webcam or a DSLR camera for anywhere from $100 to $500, some lights for another $100, $200, and that's it. The editing software maybe $150, $200, depending on what you get. Audio editing's free, and you're done. Uploading to YouTube, uploading to your own website or what have you is pretty much free. So why do these people have to live in California? For Theo Vaughn or any podcaster, it makes perfect sense. If you're a traveling comedian, don't put yourself on the West Coast or the East Coast. Put yourself in the middle of the country where it's so much easier to travel. It's so much easier to move around. You want to do a show in LA, you want to do a show in New York. It's way easier than going from LA to New York or LA to Florida or whatever it is. And you don't all of a sudden have to live by the governance of the state of California. You can choose. You can choose the rules you want. You can choose, I like how Texas is run. I like how Tennessee's run. I like how Montana's run. I like the weather in blank. All of a sudden, these independent content creators, or just independent creators in general, are realizing they don't need this. They don't need the glamour of LA. They don't need the glamour of New York. They can just do whatever they want to do. So Joe Rogan is the biggest podcaster. Joe Rogan is the biggest in that field. And him leaving is huge. But I think now you're going to see way more people leaving, way more people getting out of there, especially when you think about just comedians, right? The whole idea was, I'm going to move to California. I'm going to work open nights. I'm going to open mics. I'm going to work open mic nights. I'm going to do all this stuff, these comedy clubs, and then I'm going to make it big. I'm going to get invited to a big comedy club, or a producer or a director is going to see me. Well, that's not really a thing anymore because comedy clubs don't exist. So where is the comedy? The comedy's on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. They ain't in studios. It's not at the Comedy Store. It's not at some other local pub. None of those places exist. Open mic night is on Twitter. Open mic night is on Instagram. I've thought it was kind of weird for a while now that people were like, I want to be a stand-up comedian. I'm going to go to blank open mic night. It's like, hey, man, you might just want to write something, video, do the editing, whatever, and put it on Twitter or YouTube. If you get 500,000 views every couple Instagram posts, that's way better than performing a 4-minute set in front of some people on an open mic night. Now, I understand the whole idea of like, hey, look, you got to get on a stage, you got to get in front of a crowd. Look, I get it, okay? I don't need these comedy purists coming at me for saying this, but times have absolutely changed. 100% times have changed as far as the scope and how you move stuff around. So seeing Joe Rogan leaving California, seeing Theo Vaughn leaving California, and then just going wherever they want, does not surprise me in the least. In the least. I've told the story 100 times on this podcast. When I was a newspaper reporter, a big part of why I left newspaper reporting, why I left that whole world, was because I saw the independent creator becoming bigger than terrestrial radio, news stations, or newspapers. And that's exactly what happened. And even nowadays, if I gave a talk at a college, could you imagine? If I gave a talk at a college, I would tell everyone there, look, if you want to work at a local news station, fine. But you're way better off creating content on YouTube or Twitter or Twitch or Instagram, whatever, and try and get discovered there. If you go to a place and you say, hey, look, I've never worked in terrestrial radio, but I have a podcast that has making a number up, 2,000 person a week reach, and I do that, and I can bring that audience with me, that terrestrial radio station should listen. And that's a much bigger demo builder than anything else you had before. I promise you that.